So friends, the beginning of the story shows the MT-42 spaceship launching from Earth and heading towards Mars, which will take a full 2 years to reach Mars with 3 people on the mission. A Zoe, who is the ship's doctor, the second is Marina, who is the ship's commander, and the third is David, who is the ship's biologist. So the story goes that the humans of Earth are now trying to make Mars habitable. This is a mission in which these 3 people will go to Mars and experiment with algae there, with the hope that these people will eventually change the Martian system and make it habitable for humans. If this is the story of the future, well, some people have already gone to Mars. Most of them are scientists. Now this mission is for 2 years. In these 2 years, these people will settle on Mars and go to this colony, and David will continue his research there. Will increase. It was the first time for Zoe and David to be on a space mission, but they were chosen from among the most talented people in the world, so you can understand how special they are. Commander Marina had been on this mission many times, but a lot of money was invested and people had high hopes. Now you have understood the background of the movie, so let's move on. In the opening scene of the movie, we are also shown the takeoff, and then the spaceship starts shaking very strongly. There is a problem that all 3 of them fear. Marina thinks she should eject the ship. They are in constant contact with their Hibernian station. Then they get the signal that the sub is negative, and shortly after, the ship leaves Earth's orbit. You can understand that from Earth. What would it be like for a stray note to go outside and into space, defying gravity? Everyone was very happy with a successful landing, but David was feeling dizzy as he was in space for the first time. After that, the launch of these people is attached to a 450-meter-long tether, which also gets solar power, and it spins, creating artificial gravity. They were all the best at their jobs, and came here to contact the people of Earth and give a live interview in which Commander Marina tells them that this is her last mission, after which she will retire. David loved his wife very much, but it was always very important to him, so his wife permitted him. And Zoe also says that it was a dream of hers to be on a space mission until everything was fine. In the next scene, we see Marina working in the chamber of her module when she sees blood. She opens the part where the blood is coming out and is shocked to see a man there. The one who is unconscious and injured starts to fall, so Marina saves him. But in the process of saving him, her hand comes under the man who injures her hand. But worse news. It was that the fall of the man destroyed the device that was maintaining the ship's air. Then there is Zoe and David. Zoe and David take him in and treat him by cauterizing his stomach wound. Commander Marina informs the Hibernian controller about the man, who is the unknown man. It showed that he was a living support engineer, but the surprising thing was, how did he get there? Why did the Hibernians not know this? Marina asks, should we tie him up? Didn't he enter the ship on purpose? But the order comes from Hibernian that you should not say anything to him now. Let him be as he is. In the next scene, the 3 of them are sitting together, quite surprised by this, not understanding how this is possible, because this is not an ordinary mission. Zoe and David apply stitches to Michael's wound, and later Zoe prepares a plaster for Commander Marina, as her hand was also injured, during which they receive the bad news. It is said that the device which was in this module is now damaged, which keeps the air maintained. CO2 is getting more diffused in the air, so they use canisters to hold the wind. A few hours later, the man named Michael regains consciousness and is shocked to see that they are in space, and the Earth looks like a blue sphere. Seeing this, he panics. Then all 3 come there. Zoe tries to relax Michael. They ask Michael how he got here, but Michael doesn't remember anything. He panics again, but Zoe tells him, "Relax again." Then the three of them are singing together when Michael comes in. He apologizes to them all for his bad behavior, saying he shouldn't have yelled. He tells them that I know how special this mission is, but I don't know. I didn't come by accident. I came here by accident. Any work, tell me if any. But Marina says no instructions from the control station for you yet, but we'll let you know as soon as they come. Then Commander Marina had a great responsibility. She did not understand what she should do now. David and Zoe are very nice to Michael because they know it's not Michael's fault. It was an accident. He may have passed out during maintenance while he was working at Medieval. Zoe and David ask Michael about his life, and Michael reveals that he is pursuing a master's in engineering. He was also going to apply for the next mission. Zoe jokes that now you don't need to apply. You have come to already mission. Now Michael was starting to like it here because everyone was very nice to him. Before he was afraid that these people don't know what they will do to him, because in reality he is just a worker. He has such an important mission. In the beginnings, Zoe explains to him some important procedures which are beneficial for him. Then one night, David tells Zoe that starting tomorrow, Michael will be working with me, helping me with data entry. Then the next day it happens Michael is working with David. While working, they talk to each other and then they become good friends. There, on the other hand, Marina faces a problem on the ship. At the beginning of the apartment, Michael leaves and the oxygen device malfunctions, allowing him to breathe. Marina sends Zoe in. She closes the module's airlock and tests the device, snaps some pictures and sends them to the Hibernian control station. But they order the device to be fully opened, so to help Zoe, Marina sends Michael inside wearing a spacesuit to get the device out. They both take out the device. Michael was happy that he was no longer here for nothing, but that he was of use to them, and now they might complete this mission together. Now Zoe Michael was working on the module. Marina takes David alone and tells him about the rapid loss of oxygen and the bad news that the CDR device has malfunctioned and cannot be recovered. Since David was a biologist, Marina asked him to somehow produce oxygen. Now David had algae, but he brought it to Mars to use it to produce oxygen. But he didn't have the equipment used in it because he had already sent it to Mars, so it was difficult for David to do all this. We'll have nothing left. Then what is the benefit of this mission? And if they don't produce oxygen, they'll be killed on the subship because they've already run out of oxygen. David decides to use the half algae to produce oxygen. It will produce enough oxygen from it that they can use it on Mars. Then he produces oxygen from it. Then the problem here was that with Michael's arrival, the oxygen was rapidly diminishing. Then in the next scene, we see Michael's wound bleeding, so Zoe treats him again. Michael thanks Zoe for taking care of him and giving him work. Now I don't feel like I'm a burden on you guys. Time was running out fast, and they were in contact with their mission command giving them further instructions. They still had an oxygen problem, as the algae farm David built wasn't producing enough oxygen for 4 people. Forced to stay alive, David uses the remaining half of ELG, but the next day he faces failure as that half of LGDs and the last hope of those people is lost. Here Commander Marina says that originally this ship was designed for 2 people, but Hibernian somehow accommodated the 3rd, but considering the conditions, this ship can only keep 2 people alive, not 4 at all. This means Michael is a danger to them. Every breath he takes is becoming a danger to them. These guys were going to reach Mars in 6 months, but the way it is now, these guys will die Zoe asks the command station about whether they are doing something or not. They must have a way. So Marina says that many capable people try to find a way, but everything is futile. And when these people enter Mars, the people there will save them. Zoe didn't want that. We can't kill a human like that. These 3 people knew all this. They still didn't tell Michael about it, hadn't told him that if these people had said all this in front of him, he would have backed out and could have killed them. Zoe doesn't say yes to everything, but asks Marina and David for a few days to see if there is a way out. Come on, and we won't have to believe it. David was satisfied after the Marina and the command station because he knew that the mission could never be accomplished with Michael alive, so Michael had to die or he would never be able to do this. The mission was more important than Michael's life. But Marina doesn't refuse Zoe and gives her a few more days, but Michael has no idea what is going on here. Marina also requests a lot from Camel Station to find a way out, but Sam is the only answer. That Michael's life was in danger. One day, David talks to Medina. David says that we are risking our lives. Zoe doesn't understand this. Michael had already died on the ship. Even Marina cannot kill Michael directly. Then they wait a bit, because as time goes on they are running out of oxygen, and if this is the case, they will all die together very soon. Michael was an innocent man who could not think of killing him, because she has become good friends with Michael. When Zoe is treating Michael, she notices the burn marks on his body, which Michael explains are from a fire at their apartment when he was young. She and her younger sister used to sleep in the same room, but my father was a brave man who gave his life to save our lives. Since then, Michael has been living with her as her guardian. He loves his sister very much. He has been talking about his sister since he came on board. The next night, David goes to Michael with an injection and tells him the whole truth about the danger these people are in right now. If Michael lives, they will die. Michael has tears in his eyes. He is helpless, and he can't do anything. David leaves the injection with him and says that it won't hurt you and will make you sleepy. After David leaves, Michael cries profusely as he contemplates killing himself. He records a message for his sister before he kills himself. It is given by David. He will kill himself, but Zoe stops him. And a story goes that before I had a job here, I didn't have to do much but watch the beach from afar because there were no swimming signs, so my job was to see if anyone tried to swim. So I stopped. I knew no one would go after seeing the sign, and I would get a chance to read. But one day, some naughty boys went into the sea after drinking, and one of them drowned and died till now. I hold myself responsible, and if you die too, I won't be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life. After that, Zoe angrily goes to David and asks, "Why did you do this?" Then David gets angry that it is my life's research and that I've put all my resources at stake to save this man. All the algae I brought to Mars was wasted on producing oxygen to keep them alive. I have sacrificed, but what have you done except to accuse? At this point, Zoe doesn't say much. She has an idea attached to the shape of a reactor that might contain oxygen. Zoe talks about going there, but it's 450 meters away. Solar power also comes from... Anyway, these people had no other option. Marina doesn't refuse. Zoe is busy training Michael to go with her and fill the cylinder. But Marina sends David with Zoe instead of Michael. Yes, Michael wasn't right for this mission. Everyone else was trained. Now Marina and Michael stay on the ship. Zoya David starts heading towards the station. To some extent, they had artificial gravity, but after a short distance, it was also zero. It happens. These people reach their destination by saving money. Zoe took her own risk and went into the compartment to fill it with oxygen, but now it was in doubt how much oxygen there would be. When Zoe reaches the bottom, she is relieved to find that there is enough oxygen to fill 2 cylinders. First, she fills one cylinder and then the other. Everyone is happy because there is enough oxygen. All 4 could reach Mars alive, but the condition is that both of them manage to carry the cylinder. She manages to pick up the cylinder and lifts it up before she delivers the cylinder to the ship, causing the cylinder to crash into the depths of space. The hope of these people is broken because of the solar storm. These people come in, and now they are waiting for their death. David says that if we had managed to get that one cylinder, 3 lives could have been saved. Then Zoe takes a decision here. Ready to sacrifice, even Commander Marina does not stop him because his decision could have saved the lives of 3 people. She goes out. Now the solar storm is very dangerous for humans. It has radiation, and we all know how radiation affects humans. But the airman manages to bring the cylinder without caring about himself. Goes by giving her sacrifice, she saved the lives of 3 people. Then, in the last scene, we see her sitting on top of the ship counting her last breaths of life.